Alright, this is the Jose Soto Show. You are listening to Jose Soto. It is August 8th, 2012. So, what is on the agenda for today? Oh, yeah, that. Today was a day that pretty much reaffirmed my beliefs on who these useful idiots are. There are useful idiots out there who are anti-gay. But believe it or not, at some point, they become a little bit dangerous, toxic, and I think they should be thrown down the toilet with everything else, everybody else, with the KKK, with all this shit. Throw them down the toilet. And I just got off the phone with a friend of mine who's really well connected within the Republican establishment. Let me just say that. They are freaking out over this Bryan Fischer comment. They are freaking out. And that's what he told me. They're going to try to distance themselves from Bryan Fischer. And it's not because they disagree with him. No. It's not that. And I know that the log cabin Republicans are trying to get the platform of the GOP changed. I understand that it's one of the headlines of the GayReport.net, and that's another issue. I don't think it has nothing really to do with what some people who are working behind the scenes really want. Okay? They want is division and control. That's how you can get things done in America, is when you divide and dumb down the population. And you can get away with a lot of things. Murder, rape, anything that you want to do in America, you can do it as long as you distract the American people, divide them, and have them fight with each other. And that was Bryan Fischer's role. But what we don't understand, well, actually I do, but some people in my circle don't understand, is why is he saying this? Well, that's simple, because for Bryan Fischer, though he might be a useful idiot, he is somebody that really believes in this shit. The higher-ups of the Republican Party, the higher-ups of this fake conservative movement, has nothing to do with conservative values, and nothing to do with being libertarian, has everything to do with control and submission. Let me just say that. And today I want to get serious, folks. I know the last couple of days I've been, a little bit relaxed, but today I want to get some vital information out there for you. The Republican Party, much like the Democratic Party, are both controlled by the same controllers and the same masters. They don't want people to be educated. They don't want people to be healthy, because that's going to really defeat their goal and their purpose. So they're using useful idiots and yokels like Bryan Fischer to go to the Christians and say this is what really is the issue. The issue is gay people, these sodomites who are basically going to destroy our country. Same thing with anybody else. I mean, if you look at what every single anti-gay radio host out there is saying, from Rush Limbaugh to, what's her name? Nancy Harvey. What's her name again? Harvey is the last name. I forgot. I had her right in my head, but Linda Harvey. That's right, Linda Harvey. She has a radio show, and she goes off of this as well. You have Bryan Fischer. You have Matt Staver. You have Peter LaBarbera, Porno Pete, and these people have orchestrated a really well fine-tuned song, and each person sings a verse, and the verse is pretty much the same because you're singing the same song. That's what I'm trying to say. If you look at Bryan Fischer, if you look at Linda Harvey, if you look at Peter LaBarbera, Matt Staver, Matt Barber, you'll see that they all say the same bullshit every day. And what they do is, obviously, they hide behind the Constitution. And Constitution has nothing to do with this shit. I mean, if you look at Bryan Fischer's program, what do you see there? You see the Constitution behind him. Yeah, because it's on his back. You know, um, when somebody approached me and they said, "Jose, we want to do your show. We want to produce it. We want to have like a video shoot, and we're gonna have a radio thing." I said no because I know what they wanted to do. For me, at least. I mean, they thought I was a useful idiot. I'm not a useful idiot. I'm not anybody's useful idiot. Let's just get that straight, okay? But if you look at Bryan Fischer, if you look at his program, you'll see that there is a constitution, or what's supposed to be the constitution, behind him. Yeah, because he's putting his back to the constitution. That's why I laugh when people put those images behind themselves, unless there's something really pertaining to the program. The Constitution has nothing to do with the American Family Association. Let me just tell you that. Nothing. The Constitution was about how the government is going to behave, not how people are going to behave. That's why we tear down the sodomy laws in this country, because these laws were meant to regulate personal individual behavior. And of course, when you have somebody like Bryan Fischer coming out and saying that we should kidnap children, you might say that's extreme. And it sounds extreme, but to them it's not extreme. This is what they think. This is what they say. This is what they believe in. And there's more to this. Because this is where they're leading to, and far beyond. Because if they are going to have gay people outside the laws, outside parenting law or family law, and gay people are no longer protected by those laws, what do they want? What do they want? Obviously, they want gay people to be outside of the protection of the law entirely. Because back in the heyday of the 30s, the 40s, the dark ages, of what I call the dark ages of our country, you had the Great Depression, and you had all these other issues going on. You had the New Deal, which was supposed to help, and it did help to an extent. But you had, of course, people that were so extreme back then, and they said, yeah, we should go out and gay bash. We should go out and kill these faggots. That's what they said. And if you were to go into a 1930s Southern Baptist church, not only will you be exposed, let me say that because the other word would have been too extreme, but exposed to basically Scottish Freemasonry theology and all this stuff. Had nothing to do with being Christian or Christianity or Jesus Christ. Southern Baptist theology, which is what the American Family Association is based on, is purely Masonic, just like the Mormon Church, purely Masonic. So we have Scottish Freemasonry being but the backbone of this. And many of these people who have this theology are people who think that they are above everything and everyone else. So obviously when they see a homosexual or they see a black person, they're going to do things. And they did things in the past. They did it to the blacks, but also they did it to the gays. I'm not saying that they're the same, okay? I know some people get offended with that, but I'm just saying that there were some hate crimes committed against gays, and still to this day. In many countries, we still have genocide that doesn't go reported. From El Salvador, from Guatemala, I get these reports every day coming in that gay people get arrested, shot to death, and so forth. But today, that is what's going to end up being the end result if we don't do anything about this. And I'm not saying to go after these guys like Bryan Fischer. I'm just saying, just expose what it is, because that's what they're heading towards. They're heading towards anarchy, so they can enact their will by fear-mongering people. I mean, right now you have the American Family Association saying that gays are going to destroy the country, This is why we have so much problems in the world and in our countries because of the homos. That's what they're saying. So, what's the appropriate solution? It's just like what Hitler had his own solution to the problems of Germany was to execute the Jews and the homosexuals too. There were homosexuals who were executed in Nazi Germany, and that's what we're going to have today in America. I'm not exaggerating. That's the logical next step that these people want to take. And I know this because I studied what their theology is and where it comes from. That's important. When you know where it comes from, you can understand why they're saying this. And it's basic Dixiecrat Scottish Freemasonry theology. Derives directly from this reproduction, natural worship of Mother Earth and all that. And it's really, really homophobic, really scary. We'll be right back after this short break. Don't go away. Anyways, I just wanted to get that out of the way. Just putting it out there. I mean, people may not understand or believe it, but that's fine. I just wanted to say that that's where they're heading with this sort of stuff. And it just gets worse and worse and worse. I mean, this Bryan Fischer character popped out of nowhere. Well, not really, but it seems to a lot of people that he popped out of nowhere. But he has been manufactured by the Witherspoon, what's it called? The Witherspoon Institute? Yeah, that's the name. And you have other foundations, you have think tanks. And don't believe the fact that these think tanks are all about just, well, their ideologies. Their ideologies are the coating, the cherry on top, the surface, but you never really get underneath what's really motivating them. And like I said, divide and conquer a nation, you get a lot of things done if you are somebody that has certain objectives that people don't want. So, obviously we're seeing that those objectives are being implemented. You're seeing the austerity of Americans, the destruction of the middle class, the exportation of jobs, and the downward spiral of medicine, of industry, of manufacturing, of education. Why is this all happening? Is because that's where the controllers are taking us in that direction. Now, Bryan Fischer, I just want to get this out of the way because it really, really bothered me to some extent. The fact that there are same-sex couples who do have children, and yes, they do have children. I met some of those children. I met couples who have children, and one day maybe I will have kids. But he's basing his rant that he had, basically saying that we should kidnap these kids from their same-sex households, having this underground railroad type system. I don't know. I mean, what does that really? I mean, what does that really do? What do you plan to accomplish with that? Do you actually make the child's welfare a little better? Does the child become a little bit more attentive, a little bit more progressive, or I don't know. I don't know what's the deal. But that's not what, it's not about the child. It's never about the kid. Screw the kid. What he and like people like Bryan Fischer want is to continue to take away these protections away from the gay community. That's what they want. And they start with these parenting laws, these family laws, and then they're going to continue on. That's what they want. And his backbone, his explanation, this Bryan Fischer character is quite stupid. He quoted this Hispanic guy who is bisexual and who was raised by a lesbian couple, and he is basically whining to the Witherspoon Institute because he couldn't get pussy. What happened was this kid was raised by a lesbian mom who had a partner, but the partner wasn't really there that much, and then the partner finally moved in after the partner's kids went to college. And of course, he was a social reject, if you want to call it that. And he probably would have fit the typical stereotype of Lady Gaga's Little Monster or something like that. Maybe he could have joined that, and that would have shut him up. He would have been part of that little clique, wouldn't he? But he was an outcast because his mother was a bisexual. Bisexual also because she had this kid, and she was in a lesbian relationship. Because of that, this kid, according to himself, and not according to his therapist or psychologist or psychiatrist, he never said anything about that. But he said that because his mom was a lesbian, he was an outcast. He couldn't really relate to people. He couldn't really get on dates. He couldn't get pussy or cock, because it turns out that he's bisexual, so he likes pussy and cock. And then he goes on to this rant that bisexuals are not being appreciated by the gay community, blah blah blah. Well, the thing is that he's trying, if he's Mexican, he's trying to relate the Mexican part. Well, actually, he grew up in this white part of the U.S., if I remember. He grew up in a trailer, and I guess the partner was a white woman. But he wasn't raised in a traditional Latino environment, and it doesn't have to be the fact that you have to be raised by a mom and a dad. That's the usual family unit, but of course we have single moms, single dads. And what happens is that when you have single moms, actually most of the single parents are single moms in the Hispanic community. And when you have is that when the boys are being raised by single mothers, there's no father figure. And what happens is that, of course, you're going to have these kids trying to get male acceptance. And they might join gangs, but not all of them do. I think that those that do join gangs have some sexual problems, and they are either bisexual or homoerotic. In the Latino community, there's a lot of bisexuality going on. And men. Men are a little bit more hypersexual than other races. I mean, that's what I notice. And nothing really bad about that. It's just that we have to, be mindful of what we do. But this guy who's a Hispanic, he has to understand that bisexuality is not really well understood in the white mainstream gay community culture. It's not understood that way. There's no way to comprehend what a bisexual is. And in the Hispanic Latino culture, I was going to talk about this later on in the week, but there is no such thing as really a gay man. I mean, well, there is, but we don't label these things. I mean, you have somebody who's feminine and who's gay, right? Who's a gay man. He's usually going to be the bottom, and the top, who penetrates the bottom, is not considered gay. He's really much a straight man in all contexts. That's how Hispanics and many Latinos view that. I don't know why that is. Well, I mean, I have my own, reasons why that happens, and I'm still trying to learn why that is the case within the Latino gay community. Well, there is no. I mean, it's not really a Latino gay community per se. I mean, yes, there is some communion there, based on this European Anglo culture. But in the meantime, you go to Mexico, you go to any place, any bar, any event, any jaripeo or a rodeo, even go to a regular rodeo, you're going to find gay guys there. And you might be asking yourself, why are they there? Well, that's because they're hunting for cock. And they fish out these straight guys, and straight guys flock to them, and they and they fuck around straight guy says to himself he's not gay because he's not sucking cock, he's not having cock up his ass. That's how we Mexicans think. I don't know why that is. Does it make sense? Probably it does. It has to do with a lot of historical context with regarding to this kind of behavior. But I will get into that later on. I will definitely try to explain myself regarding that issue. Sorry that I went on this dither, but I just want to, lay that out for you. But this guy who says that his lesbian mother fucked him up emotionally, that he couldn't relate to anybody, that's really stupid. Because here's the thing. I have issues. I have other friends, acquaintances who have issues as well. All of us were raised by straight parents. My issues are some of them are psychological. I do have some issues. I'm not going to deny that. But should I blame my straight parents? It's their sexuality that fucked me up? No. It's just the conditions that I live in. That's basically, there were many factors that really made my life a little bit not pleasant when I was a little kid. We had a very strict religion that we were part of. We were Jehovah's Witnesses. We have all this other stuff going on. And that really much screwed up my childhood in a bit. And it has hurt me as an individual. But I don't blame my parents because of that. I just move on. And the least of my worries would be to blame my parents because they are straight. That would be stupid. But this guy's blaming his lesbian mother because he didn't have that male figure. Okay, I granted that. I do believe that if a gay male couple wants to adopt, I think they should adopt boys because you can relate better to a boy if you're a man than if you're a girl. And I think that's, to me, I know a lot of people say that's not scientifically proven. I say, well, there are some studies that say that once a boy is going to puberty, he looks up to a male figure. It doesn't matter if the male figure is gay or not. That's not the issue. The issue is, do you have somebody there who is a male? And that's why I strongly encourage gay couples to adopt children, but I think we should stick to our own sexes. And that would be a lot healthier, I think. It would be a lot more productive, a lot more, there'll be a lot more connection. And yes, I know there are gay couples who adopt kids of the opposite sex. That's fine, but the thing is you're not going to relate to those kids when they go through puberty. If you are a male gay couple and you adopt a little daughter, a little girl, that girl's going to grow up. She's going to grow titties. Her breasts are going to get bigger. She's going to have periods. She's going to go through ovulation and all this stuff. Hot flashes, PMSing. And how are you going to relate to that? You're not a woman. You can't really, go down to her level and try to understand her and go through her first period or through buying a bra or something like that. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. And I know a lot of gay men who agree with me on this, and they say, they're planning to adopt, but they're not going to adopt girls. They're going to adopt boys because they can relate. Lesbians can adopt girls if they want. I mean, that's what I say. And then we can avoid these issues. But then you're saying, well, a boy needs a mother. And I'm like, well, yeah, maybe in the beginning, but not as much, though. I mean, a father can be as nourishing. And that's actually really good if you have a father, a gay dad, or two gay dads, who are very nurturing but yet masculine. Because then the child can see that. A male child can absorb that masculinity and that also femininity. There's some gay men who are very feminine, so they can absorb both of them, and that's also healthy as well. Because I mean, that's not, if people are complaining, you need both. You need a male figure and a female figure for the children, And the thing is that if that is the case, then we are really screwing things up, because we have so many single parents in this country. But we don't need to go there. I mean, all we have to do is to really understand what a child goes through when that child is growing up, is going through puberty. Those are really important years. The important years also, the first few years are also very important, but also through puberty, because that's where you actually start to mold yourself into the adult that you will be. So that's what I say. I disagree with Bryan Fischer, obviously, because Bryan Fischer is nothing but a kook. I mean, I could go on and insulting this guy, and I can. But Bryan Fischer, using this bisexual Hispanic guy who was raised by a lesbian, and saying this is the reason why we need to kidnap these kids. I mean, it's one of the most stupidest things that I've ever heard in my life. I mean, and I heard them all. I heard about the gay porn, can turn you straight, right? That theory, gay porn can turn you straight. Watch a little bit of that, why don't you? Oh yeah, I'm gonna watch some gay porn and turn masculine and straight. Yeah, wanna jerk off together? Oh yeah. You feel the straightness coming in? That really took me by surprise. I never thought anybody would come up with that kind of theory. I always thought that people would always say, watch straight porn and you can turn straight. That's what I always thought. Right? But I've known Mexican guys in Mexico who, gay guys, who go after the straight guys, and what they do is they don't show them gay porn, they show them straight porn, and they get all horny, and that's how they get laid. Anyway, I'm digressing. But I just wanted all of you to understand that when Bryan Fischer, somebody like this, is using these types of people, like this guy, what's his name? Robert Oscar Lopez, who is a bisexual raised by a lesbian couple, supposedly. And here's the other thing. Do I believe this? No. I don't really believe this. I think some of it's bullshit. But if he has problems relating to people and he's blaming it on his mother, I think that's the main issue, is that he's never taking responsibility for his own inactions. I mean, look, I can blame my surroundings and my conditions and my upbringing for what issues I have, but I also have at my disposal the tools, the techniques, okay, to be able to overcome those issues. And yes, I've overcome them, many of them. I've overcome many of my issues because I use my own will to overcome them. Because you decide to overcome them. I hate this whole thing, well, my parents were assholes, so I'm an asshole too, or my dad was a wife beater, so that's why I'm beating up my wife, and all this bullshit. Why do you always blame the fucking parents? Yes, they were raised in a bad environment, and sure, that can fester these emotions, these dysfunctions. But even then, how do you connect the two? Because I've seen kids raised by dysfunctional parents, and they turn out okay, and the other way around. I still don't see it that there's a direct, sudden connection all the time. It's not true all the time. It's not true. I do believe, though, that if parents can relate better to their kids, I think there will be less problems. But that doesn't mean just because there are problems that the kid, the offspring, the child, when he becomes an adult, like this person, shouldn't be able to deal with them as an adult. And then to be, I blame my lesbian mom, it's her fault. I mean, what a fucking wab. What a fucking... Yeah, of course you have issues, because you blame everybody else for them. That's an issue. You see, I stopped doing that when I became 17. Started to stop blaming others. That's why my family left the cult religion that they were a part of. Yeah, we blamed the religion, but we did something about it. Alright? Anyway, we're going to take a little break, and we'll be right back after these short messages. And we're back. Let's go over some news here. We have this article that caught my eye, and it's up on the gayreport.net. We have it linked up there. And turns out that doctors in Lebanon have banned anal exams that are used to charge men with homosexuality. I'm not kidding you. It's a real article. It's not like the Joe My Cock website or anything, but this is real. And I knew about this a while ago, that many countries still examine your asshole. I wonder how they do that. Do they blow on it? See how much or how fast it retracts? That's a quick little rim job right there, isn't it? But how can you tell? I mean, is it because there's some lacerations to the anus or something? You know, it looks dilated or something that you can tell. Oh yeah, something big has gone through this anus. Well, how do you know it was a penis of a man? How do you know that? How can you tell? I mean, for all we know, some of these men could have been shoving up some cucumbers or something up their ass, or a baseball bat or something. I'm not kidding you. I mean, I've seen these guys like shove up things up their asses, like not just. I mean, you have baseball bats, you have Foster beer cans. You know those Foster beer, those beer cans. They're like huge. They're fucking thick. That has to be at least 10 inches round, and you can shove that up your ass. I'm amazed at the talent of some of these gay dudes. But no, I don't do that. I just having a finger up there, up my ass. I mean, that's already work for me, you know. So I'm not a huge fan of this kind of thing. I've seen gay guys shoving up live animals up their ass, batteries, remote control cars. I mean, you name it. People don't believe me. That's fine. But how can you fucking tell? I mean, yeah, okay, something has been up this man's ass. Maybe you can tell that. But how can we tell if it's a penis? Unless there's some cum in it somewhere, probably. But if you wear a condom, you know, you can't really tell. Or if you use spit and then not cum inside, or you can probably tell if there's pre-cum. But if there's nothing, all you see is lacerations and just signs of penetration. What can that tell you? I mean, for all we know, again, you know, it could have been a cucumber up somebody's ass, or it could have been a big old shit, you know. I had one of those before. A few years ago, I had a big motherfucking shit. It was so huge, I thought I was gonna fucking pass out of the pain. I mean, and it was really thick. It was really thick and really hard. And I'm like, God, it feels better going out than coming in. Let me tell you. So here's the article. Doctors ban anal exam used to charge men with homosexuality. The order of physicians. And this is serious, by the way. Right? We're going to stop examining your assholes. Oh, that's a change, right? I mean, were they really examining a lot of assholes over there? Probably, because they had to make the statement. So, in Mexico, the way they can tell you that you're gay is just they drop their pants. Because in Mexico, if you're sucking cock, you're gay, right? So they get a couple of stray dudes sit up there, and then they just drop the trowel. And if anybody gets a hard on, or if you start sucking cock, that was a sign that you were gay. Start sucking cock, you are a homo. Well, that makes sense. I think it does. I think it's more simpler that way. We don't have to deal with all these identity issues. In Mexico, Mexicans, we have it simple. If you have a cock up your ass, or if you suck a cock in your mouth, you are a homo. Pretty simple. No identity issues, no how none of this emotional BS, Freudian, whatever, Kinsey scale, Anglo shit. We don't need any of that. We Mexicans are very simple people. We love it that way, don't we? The Order of Physicians issued a circular Tuesday telling doctors they will face disciplinary measures if they carry out anal examinations. Oh, don't tell me I can't examine any more anuses. I bet Porno Pete is really disappointed with this. Ordered by the judiciary intended to provide evidence of homosexuality. Quote, such techniques do not give the desired result and constitute a gross violation of the rights of persons who are subjected to it without their consent. Oh, so they do this without their... Oh, so they say, okay, bend over. Let me examine that ass. Let's see. Okay. Looks like a little bit red over here. Some little blood there. What's this? Oh, yeah. Well, let me put my finger in it. See what it is. See how it reacts. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Now I'm going to put my 2 fingers in there. See how that is. Oh, yeah. It feels a little hollow in there. A little loose. Maybe we have a homo here or something. All right. Let me just put my 3rd finger in there. See how that, okay. Yeah. Now it's getting really loose. Oh, yes. This guy is definitely fucking homo. Oh, yeah. All right, let me just drop my trowel. Bzz. All right, and I'm going to put my cock in there. See how that feels. Oh, yeah, really loose. This motherfucker's fucking gay. Anyway, that's Lebanon. And then I don't know why there's still countries who believe in this shit. Well, there are countries that still have slavery. And that's the thing that people don't know. You go to the gas pump, you're supporting slavery. Saudi Arabia, they still have slavery there. Right? The royal family, they're engaged in it the whole time. It's not just that they'll kill you if you're gay in Saudi Arabia, but they also... Well, that might be the worst, right? But if you're gay, they might make you into a sex slave. That's also another thing that people don't talk about. You see, because we talk about the execution part, and that's really bad as well. I talk about that a lot also. But another thing that we forgot to mention is that in these countries in the Middle East, you have a lot of gay men being prostituted, being enslaved into these sex rings, sex circles, and they get prostituted to big wigs, to big mega corporations, heads and CEOs and government officials. I mean, you just have to read that crap. So, anyways, that's Lebanon. Now, here's another article from Seattle, and we have here is a gay man who what did he say? Oh, he was discriminated against at the Ferris wheel. Now here's the thing. Why this catch my eyes? Because just a few days ago we had a homo in Montana who had the audacity to fake his own hate crime attack. He faked the whole thing. Everything, the fact that he was in the bar, he wasn't even inside the bar. But he had to fake the whole thing, and he was famous for a couple of minutes, and then boom, he was caught red-handed. And he videotaped it. I mean, his friends videotaped when he was faking the whole thing. I mean, that has to be the most stupidest act in the history of the LGBT community. And I wish there was a way we can excommunicate gays. I wish there was a way we can just export gays out of our community and say, you know what? Fuck you. Turn in your gay badge. Turn in your homo badge. You're no longer a homo. You may suck cock, but you're not going to be a homo. So here we have this article here, and again, we have another homo doing things that I think are not productive or good. Basically, he's saying that he's been discriminated against by the staff that are working at this Ferris wheel. This is a giant Ferris wheel that's by the dock in Seattle, and it's part of the skyline. It's one of the famous places to go down in Seattle. Here's the article. The owners of Seattle's New West waterfront attraction were put on the defensive Monday by a Facebook post. And they always go to fucking Facebook. Why can't you fucking call the people up and say, hey, what's up? The people that work for you are fucking assholes. You know, they were discriminating against me. You know, this is what I want to tell you. I'm going to tell you in person. I'm going to tell you in your face. No, get a fucking Facebook and type. Yes, I'm going to go to Facebook and I'm going to complain. What the fuck is that? Be a fucking man. I know you're fucking gay, but at least be a man. What happened to being a man these days? Okay, a gentleman. An honorable person that will face his so-called aggressors or the people that he has a beef with. Face them. Say, hey, what's your problem? This is what happened. I was at your fucking Ferris wheel and one of your fucking asshole management people, your employees, they really just ruined my day. Alright? They were rude and I think they discriminated against me because of my sexual orientation. And after that, if they give you whatever, they give you half face, I don't know, then you leave and then you go to the media. But don't just go to Facebook and start, and what is that? What is that? When I have complaints, which I usually don't, you know, I'm a guy that rarely complains. A few times I have, at a Denny's once, because I was sitting there with my partner for like 45 minutes, and finally, because nobody came to our table, and we sat down there, we were looking at the menus, and 45 minutes in, nobody has come to take our order. Everybody else around us was getting, you know, serviced. And finally, one of the hosts was walking around, he noticed, and he's like, nobody's been here. I'm like, nope, nobody's been here, dude. And that's when I say, you know what, just get the manager out here. I just want to talk to him. I want to talk to him personally. And I'm not going to make a scene or anything. I'm not going to say anything. I just want to tell him. And I don't want anything for free. I'm just going to tell him what happened. So the manager came over. He's a fat ass. Fucking dork. Doofus. You know, like a Baby Huey type. You know, he's slow in the brain. So I said to him, hey, you know, this is what happened. We're here for 45 minutes. I didn't take it as, you know, because of my sexual orientation. Or anything like that. I just said, hey, you have bad service. And the manager was really apologetic about it. And he insisted that that our meal was for free. And I didn't want to have that. My point was, I just wanted to confront you about this. I wanted to let you know what's going on. I'm not going to go on Facebook. I'm not going to go on Twitter. I'm not going to go on these, you know, social networks personally and start raving away about my bad experiences. I don't do that. I'm not the kind of person. So, yeah, he went to Facebook alleging 2 gay men were kicked off Seattle's Great Wheel because of their sexual orientation. Jason Jacobs, a Capitol Hill resident, called on friends through Facebook to boycott the ride after he said he and his date were asked to leave after holding hands and sharing a kiss on one of the gondolas. The post started going viral Monday, and of course it does. Because there are people out there who don't investigate. I investigate this, right? I go to the bottom of this. I say, okay, what happened here? Nothing happened. These pricks were being assholes. And the company came out and they said that, well, the company said that they're pro-gay. So that's what I'm trying to say. And you might say, Jose, well, you know, just wait out and see what happens. No, I know what happened. I know what happened. These guys were being assholes. They had their feet on top of the leather seats of this VIP gondola that they purchased. And they had their feet on top of the fucking leather. I mean, how can you do that? How can you do that? Isn't it gay etiquette not to put your dirty shoes on top of your leather seats? Isn't that gay etiquette? I mean, somewhere in our gay etiquette program, it should be there. I don't know. But these assholes were totally offline. And then to come out and say, well, we were kicked out because of our sexual orientation, because we shared a kiss. That's a lot of baloney. Because I've read other comments of gay guys going up there and kissing, making out, and they had no problems. Obviously, you have a problem. And this is what I don't like about these types of situations. Unless you videotaped it, you got witnesses that will testify and say, yes, this is what happened. If you have video, that would be better. Or audio. You can videotape the whole incident. And then we can say, okay, this is what happened. Yes, they were, being homophobic. They were yelling obscenities and anti-gay slurs and all that. But that didn't really occur. And nothing like that did occur. So the company came out and they said, no, we're not anti-gay. So take it. I mean, why are we shaking feathers here? Why are we roughing the feathers? I don't know. You see, we fight battles that don't need to be fought, and that goes same for Chick-Fil-A. And all we had to do was to expose Chick-Fil-A and say that was a bad company and move on. And I did it. I exposed Chick-Fil-A. Jeremy Hooper exposed Chick-Fil-A. Other people, you have Media Matters, whatever, those guys over there. You have George Soros. I don't care who it is, but the facts are the facts. It doesn't matter who exposes the facts. But my beef now is how we reacted to this. Then we had the mayor of Chicago, Rahm Emanuel, come out and say we should ban Chick-fil-A from Chicago. Then you have the right-wingers react to that. It was basically really dirty. It was really, really fucking dirty. And I didn't really appreciate that. I didn't appreciate the reactions. All we wanted was for gay people to realize this so they don't go and eat a Chick-fil-A. That was our thing. We weren't going to do an official boycott or anything like this. And I was thinking that maybe just by mere exposure, people would just learn as we go along. Within time, people will get it that this company is really up to no good. But no, we had to push it through. We had to ram it down people's throats. We had to get people pissed off. We had to get all these things that were happening around Chick-fil-A just really pissed me off. It really did. And then you had this hetero who went to a Chick-fil-A and berated an employee there at the drive-thru. And of course, that employee ended up on Fox News. That's what happened. So we're going to see that, I guess. Why not? Let's take a break first. And then when we come back, I'm going to touch on that. Because that really bothered me for some reason. And it's hypocrisy on both sides. And the fact that we're making issues over non-issues over non-issues. It's like we're getting deeper into shit. And we're not doing anything. We're just up to our knees in shit and smut. Anyway, let's take a short break and we'll be right back after these short messages. Alright, now let's play this clip from Fox News. And of course, Fox News had to create controversy, and there's controversy within controversy within controversy. First, you have, of course, the original controversy, which was that fact that Chick-fil-A was donating money to groups who wanted to get gay people in jail, to throw us in jail, and export us to other countries. That was also another policy of the Family Research Council, donating money to the ex-gay group Access International, who was involved in Uganda, and you have all these other things. So that was the original issue. Now that was the original controversy. Then we had the gay marriage controversy, which had nothing to do with the original controversy. Then we had the other controversy of banning Chick-fil-A's from cities. We have Rahm Emanuel. You have these other stupid politicos who were basically just having diarrhea of the mouth and making us look bad. I mean, that's what happened. And then you have, within that controversy, you have this, which is a hetero, supposedly. That's what he said. And I'm just going to go through that. You have a straight guy going to a drive-thru window of a Chick-fil-A, berating an employee. Now, Is that smart? No, obviously not. Then you videotape it, and then of course you get fired from your job. I'm gonna go through all those bases, but let me just go ahead and play you that. That's Neil Cavuto. Oh yeah, this is Neil Cavuto's show, that Italian fascist, but I'm not gonna go into that. But Neil Cavuto is not in, so his replacement for today was Stuart Varney. Oh, that British guy. Is he British? He sounds British. Stuart Varney was filling in for Neil Cavuto. So let's go ahead and listen to that shit.
You've seen the rant. Now meet Rachel.
This is my free water.
It is?
Awesome. You know why I'm getting the free water, right?
I do not.
Because Chick-Fil-A is a hateful corporation.
I disagree.
I know,
we
but
don't treat any of our customers differently. We don't.
I know, but you guys, but the corporation gives money to hate groups.
Well, now Rachel is.
Well, now, here's the thing. People are saying, "Oh, this was bad." Yes, it was a misjudgment. I think, in my own opinion, it should have never have happened. In my opinion, the guy shouldn't even videotape it. All right. But now you have this employee being the victim. This employee is now a martyr for the anti-gay right wing. And that's what we have now. But here's the other side of the point I want to make. Another side. Yeah, I think this was a bad idea. This asshole was totally, I don't know what the fuck he was smoking, to be honest with you. And this is how you're going to help us gay people? This is how you're going to help us? By berating an employee who makes minimum wage? Please. Please. I tell you, there are straight guys out there, straight people, political heads, these knuckleheads that believe that what they're doing for us is good, it's going to help us, and in the end, it's going to bite us in the ass. And I hate that shit. Especially Rahm Emanuel saying, oh, we're going to ban all these Chick-Fil-A's. Yeah, that's going to really help us, really. And then you have Bryan Fischer calling us Hitler and Nazis and all this shit. But here's the other side of the point, though. The whole argument about Chick-fil-A from the right-wingers is that, oh, it's freedom of speech, freedom of speech, freedom of speech, freedom of speech, freedom of expression and all that. Fine. In that case, we cannot make this an issue. Even though it should be, but we cannot make this an issue under that precept, because what you're saying is that people have a right to their expression, to their freedom of speech. So this guy had to go to the drive-thru and order water and tell them off. It's his freedom of speech. He has the freedom of speech. Yeah, that makes sense. So why is he being berated? Also, why is he in trouble for expressing his disbelief and his anger about Chick-fil-A, even though it's not wise? Why is he doing it? Just like, what's his face? Dan Cathy. May not be wise to basically, flip off the gay community like that. It may not be wise, but he still had the ability to do so, right? Free speech, right? Free speech. So why can this guy exert his free speech? Why only Dan Cathy? Oh, because he's anti-gay. That's why. This is the Fox News mentality. If I wasn't Fox News, I would be like, hey, this guy has free speech. He can do whatever the hell he wants because the whole fucking controversy is about free speech. But no, this guy got fired. He was a CEO or something. A CFO. He was a CFO for a firm here in Arizona, and he got fired. He got fired from his job for expressing his freedom of speech. But yet, Dan Cathy gets $30 million in one day. Explain that to me. Explain that to me.
Here with her side of the story. Welcome, everyone. I'm Stuart Varney in for Neil Cavuto.
Fox News love this shit. Controversy after controversy.
For Chick-fil-A Appreciation Day, one worker took the brunt of a driver's rant. That's when Adam Smith drove up to her checkout window and blasted her and the company she works for in a video that's
oh my God, he's using his free speech.
Her name is Rachel, and the guy who recorded his own tirade has apologized. Will Rachel accept that apology? Well, Rachel is here, and only here, in her first nationally televised interview. She has asked that her name not be released, her last name. Her fiancé, Robert, has asked to be with her. Rachel,
And the
welcome
fiancé has to
program.
be here
I must
too.
say, it's very good to see you, not through a serving hatch. Welcome.
Oh, God.
Thank you so much.
Now, the young man in question here, Adam Smith.
Wait a minute. I thought that employees were not allowed to talk to the media. Wasn't that the memo that came from HQ? Somebody needs to follow up on that. Employees are allowed to speak to the media. I don't think they are. Because I know that a friend of mine who works up in USA Today, he wanted to get a direct quote. And the lady there said, "Oh no, we're not allowed to talk to the media." So I don't know. I mean, maybe that franchise wasn't allowed to, but I don't know if the order came from that franchise for that store only, or was it for the entire chain? I'm not really sure.
He did go back to the store, the restaurant where you worked. He tried to see you. You didn't want to see him at that time. I think he wanted to apologize then. Why didn't you want to see him at that time?
I was still in shock from the fact that the video he took of me was going viral on the internet, and I just really didn't know how to react when he came by the next morning.
Well, now, as you know, he has apologized, and I believe that apology has probably gone viral too. Do you accept that apology?
I do forgive Adam Smith. I think he realizes how bad of a decision it was to make that tape, and I feel really sorry for him and his family and everything that's happened to him since Wednesday.
Now, some of our viewers have probably not seen the apology, so I'm going to run part of it, and I'm going to ask you to just react to it as we run it. Here we go.
Okay.
Rachel, I'm sorry for treating you poorly. Not because I feared losing my job or even that I actually lost my job. I'm sorry for treating you so inhumanely because I compromised my personal integrity. While I might not agree with everyone's views, I want to always treat the other person with respect. I didn't do that with you.
Well, Rachel, I know that you've seen that before, but what was running through your mind when you first saw that apology?
So let's go ahead and wait a minute. I'm just gonna go ahead and fast forward this. It's a little bit long. I'm gonna go ahead and do. Why don't we just go ahead with the video of the guy berating this poor young Chick-Fil-A employee? Why don't we do that?
Is this my free water?
It is?
Awesome. You know why I'm getting the free water, right?
I do not.
Because Chick-fil-A is a hateful corporation.
I disagree. I wouldn't.
I know,
we
but-
don't treat any of our customers differently. We don't.
I know, but you guys,
discriminate.
but the corporation gives money to hate groups. I don't know how you live with yourself
Anything you
and
need.
work here. I don't understand it. This is a horrible corporation with horrible values.
We're here to
You
serve
deserve
in
better.
any way that you need.
You deserve better. Rachel deserves better. Okay?
Well, I hope you have a really nice day.
I will. I just did something really good. I feel purposeful. Thank you so much.
I must tell you, Rachel,
Oh, I feel purposeful. And then didn't he say? I thought this clip had it. I don't know. Maybe I should get. Fuck it. But he said towards the end, "Oh, I'm a straight guy." I mean, why did he need to say that? I thought he was pro-gay. I mean, it didn't matter if you're straight or not, or gay or whatever. It's just just go ahead and say it. Just say whatever you need to say. But no, he had to say, "Oh, by the way, I'm straight." Yeah, you just berated a chick, and now the chick probably thinks you're gay, blah, blah, blah. And this guy thought internally, oh no, she probably thinks I'm a homo, so I better clear that up. Oh, and you're so tolerant, aren't you? Adam Smith, whatever. But the point I made earlier stands. Why doesn't he have the same right as Dan Cathy to express his bigotry? Or is it only for Dan Cathy and Mike Huckabee and all these other assholes? And that's what I don't understand. Is what are we talking about here? Are we talking about free speech, or are we talking about what exactly are we talking about here? And I know it's not free speech, because if it was, we will be talking about something totally different. This is about the fact to get one over the homos. The homos were pissed. Let's get them more pissed off. That is basically reactionary. It's reactionary, and all of these guys wanted was a reaction. What we wanted, what I wanted in particular, I don't know about anybody else, but what I wanted from this was to educate people about this and say, hey, don't go to Chick-Fil-A if you don't support these anti-gay groups. That is what we wanted to do. And just let people be aware of it. That's all. But the problem is of course the fact that the Chick-fil-A COO president Dan Cathy, he had to come out and say it, right? He had to come out like this asshole Adam Smith. He had to go to a drive-thru window and berate a minimum wage employee, and Dan Cathy, he had to come out and berate homosexuals, and he had to say, of course, he had to say, you're shaking your fist at God and God is angry. And all of you homos are twisted. Your vile, twisted ways of trying to redefine marriage. Oh, that's pretty pro-gay. I don't know. Sounds pretty tolerant to me, doesn't it? Sounds like this guy, he's been to a couple of diversity classes. Anyway, why don't we take a break and we'll be right back. This is the Jose Soto Show. We'll be right back after a short break. You're listening to Intellectual Nudity. Stay tuned. Alright, and we're back. And what's up with Matt Bomer? I hope I pronounced that correctly. I'm really bad with names. Matt Boner? No, Matt Bomer. Oh, we all know Matt Bomer, right? He's a gay actor, famous gay actor. Anyway, he was on Magic Mike. I know that was a big hit with the gay community. A lot of gay guys went and saw that shit. I mean, why do you want to... Okay, first of all, I don't really find that particular kind of movie interesting. Yeah, but a couple of strippers, male strippers who went through a lot of shit. Yeah, blah blah blah. And I heard that it was alright. It wasn't that good. I mean, the writing was a little bit okay. But if it's a really good story, yeah, I'll go see it. But I think most people went to see, you know what? They went to see some butt. They wanted to see cock. They wanted to see abs. They wanted to see chest. They wanted to see hot guys running around. Why didn't you just go online and get some porno and just look at that shit? It's free. Why do you have to go to the movie theater with all the crying babies and all that shit? Well, probably there weren't any crying babies in this theater with dancing male strippers going berserk. But here we have is an article. It's really, I don't know. I don't know what to say about this. Well, I do have many things to say, but I don't know which one to say. I always thought that, Hollywood is so liberal. Well, that was when I was 18 years old. When I was 19, I thought, no, it's not. It can't be liberal. Because the double standard of Hollywood has always been that gay men cannot play lead roles. It's always been like that since the 30s, and still we haven't seen that lately. We haven't seen a gay man play a lead role, not even in a fucking homo movie. I mean, Heath Ledger, he and Jake Gyllenhaal, they were the ones who played the lead roles in Brokeback Mountain. They couldn't get a homo to do that. They couldn't get Matt Bomer to do that. No, they had to get a straight guy, a hetero, to play a homo. What's the logic behind that? If we're gonna say fine, if we're gonna say you can only play what your sexual orientation can limit you. Straight guys will play, straight lead roles, and gay guys will play whatever gay lead roles it might be, which are not that many, by the way. So, and you have, of course, that will make sense then. But no, we will then have to also play gay roles, straight actors playing gay roles. Now, if we're gonna let straight actors play gay roles, then why don't we let, homos play straight roles? And the reason why, it comes down to the money, the moolah, the green. I'm not talking about green energy or any of that bullshit. I'm talking about the money. Dollar bills. That money, yeah, it makes people do things that usually they wouldn't do in real life. Producers don't want to be looked like they are anti-gay, right? Because they work in Hollywood. Hello, right? They work with homos all the time. But homos in Hollywood had never asked themselves, well, gee, why haven't we had a lead role, a homo play a lead role? And this is a good opportunity because now Matt Bomer is being tapped for playing 50 Shades of Grey. He's going to play the lead role in that movie. Well, that's what the rumor is. I'm not sure if that actually is happening. But Matt Bomer is being tapped to play the lead role in 50 Shades of Grey, the movie, based on the novel. I haven't read the novel. I'm not really interested in reading that. But I heard that it's pretty sexual, very heterosexual, but very sexual indeed. I mean, it's very erotic. Can a gay man play a straight man who is very erotic? I don't know. I think they can. I've seen them doing that many times in the past in other movies, especially during the time when gay men had to remain closeted if they were actors. It's kind of funny that you go... I mean, I went to acting school for 1 semester, I think it was. And, I mean, most of the guys there were fucking gay. I mean, they were homos. But then they played it straight, and some of them were in the closet. I'm like, what's the deal? I thought that drama and Hollywood and motion pictures and all of this were, liberal, that they were gay accepting, but it's not. That's the biggest lie, the biggest myth ever told. Hollywood's accepting to an extent. As long as you don't affect the bottom line, and the fact is it's the bottom line, that's what they're looking at. That is what's driving this whole thing. It's not homophobia, it's just plain hypocrisy and money and being greedy that's driving this. And the fact is that women are going to want to see this movie. And women might know that Matt Bomer, he's a homo, and they're going to be turned off by this. I don't know why. It's just a movie, folks. It's just a fucking movie. I mean, what do you expect? Are you going to have sex with Matt Bomer yourself? Or are you going to have sex with the actor? But there's a pseudo-sexual connection to these movies. I mean, it's just... I know. Like, a lot of straight guys have, these fantasies with, I don't know, like Marilyn Monroe or something. And you fantasize the actor and yourself. I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. I can understand that. But if you're gonna have a movie based on good acting and you're gonna have good people working on a movie if you're gonna spend a lot of money in it. You're gonna need good writers, you're gonna need a good director. Who cares about if he's gay or not, right? But if you're gonna have an actor, you have to have a good actor. And I don't know why now we're making this an issue. I think it is. To a lot of people, it is. The 50 Shades of Grey movie has a few current favorites to play Christian Grey, with Matt Bomer and Ian Somerhalder being two of the actors with the biggest fan followings. However, now it seems that Matt's sexual orientation is making some critics wonder if he could adequately portray an extremely sexual straight man like Grey. I mean, that's what actors are paid to do, is to be believable. That's what actors are paid. But it goes beyond just the movie screen. It's this whole sexual worshipping of these actors. That, especially for people that you sexualize actors like this. Yeah, they play sexual roles. Just like the guy who played Brian Kinney in Queer as Folk. He's a straight guy playing a gay guy who fucks all these other homos, but he's straight, right? And he's a straight guy. But that didn't, I don't know, it didn't affect me. I know that he's straight, but he's doing this, and yeah, he's hot, and yeah, it still kind of brought some hotness to it. I didn't really care that he was straight. Anyways, he's not my type that I would date, but it didn't ruin the whole effect for me that this guy was who he was playing. He played the role really well. Interestingly enough, the fact that Matt is gay really hasn't come up all that much before now. He's a decent actor and definitely looks the part, so isn't that enough? I don't know. Apparently not. Remember, you're selling sex here. That's what Hollywood does now. It doesn't sell art or doesn't sell good movies with good acting and good writing and good direction. No, they're selling you sex. That's why they're making this a big deal. And they make money out of it. That's how they make their bank. Get with it. But that's the huge hypocrisy. The huge hypocrisy of Hollywood is this. I mean, if you conservatives really want to get at big Hollywood and big liberal Hollywood, this is how you get them. All right? Let's just get that away. Why not? Anyway. Oh, here's another article. I found this interesting. Yeah, let me talk about this one. New Zealand anti-gay marriage petition has nearly 20,000 signatures. You get that right. 20,000 signatures. Protect Marriage group celebrates milestone, but many names are fakes. Of course, that happened with that other group in England. They have 500,000 signatures and close to 200,000 of them were fake. And then the other 300,000 were like repetitions and people signing in twice and 3 times. Because what you do is you put up this petition online on your own website, and you control the petition, obviously, so you can control who signs it. But anybody can come in and sign it, and they don't block people who have already signed, so you can go ahead and sign it multiple times. So that's why I don't really take these surveys seriously, these petitions, whatever they are. That's full of bullshit. What really counts is the votes at the ballot box. An anti-gay marriage petition in New Zealand has reached nearly 20,000 signatures, but many names are fakes. Although most of the signatures appear genuine, a scroll through the names reveals many are not, especially the names of Donald Duck. Oh, Donald Duck, he signed this petition? I didn't know that. So if Donald Duck can sign this petition, I think any useful moron can sign this twice, 3 times. Use fake names like Donald Duck. No, that couldn't have been Donald Duck. Donald Duck is kind of busy, if you know what I mean. Yeah, Donald Duck is getting, he's busy getting a blowjob.
Oh my God, it feels so good. Oh yeah. Oh, slow down. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Oh my God. Oh yeah. Play with my balls. Play with my balls. Oh, that feels so good. Yeah, just roll them around.
Oh God.
Oh my God. I love it when you. Uh-oh, slow down. Don't move. I'll go get you a towel.
Oh, shit. Alright, that's the end of our show for today. God, I'm fed up all these emails getting in. I'm gonna do something about that for next time. Alright, anyway. We hope you enjoy the show. This is Jose Soto. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time. This is the Jose Soto Show. Good night.